How you doing, Chris?
What's going on, Pat?
We're back here on the network again. A lot going on in the world. We're going to first talk about this is just a fantastic field of Republican candidates. They are so fantastic that they should assure President Obama of being reelected. So you see where this discussion is going to go. Chris, let's first talk about the infamous godfather of pizza, Herman Cain.
Might as well. He's the godfather, and he's evidently a few women don't think he's a godfather. Okay, there's about 5 or 6 women out there that don't believe he's the godfather.
No,
he ain't the one.
No.
Okay, and they one of them made a rebuttal because Herman Cain's wife came to his defense recently.
Right.
And says that he would have to have a split personality in order to do the things that he's accused of being doing. One of these women came out and said, well, she doesn't know her husband very well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the funny thing, I did some studying into that, and looked into it, and there is a study going on right now regarding negative dark personalities and Republicans, conservatives, and split personality pretty much fits into the Machiavellian category. Okay?
Gropers.
Yes, gropers. Now. I got a column coming out about that right now, and it's funny because there's a guy who did a real thorough study of it, and I'm going to be interviewing him on my blog talk show in a couple of weeks, and it's deep. It's real deep.
Serial gropers.
Serial groper. Now, understand that takes a split personality to do things like this.
Right.
And on one hand, you're a family man, preaching traditional family values and clean business values and all this stuff.
Right.
Conservativeness. On the other hand, you're groping and sexually harassing women.
Groping and harassing.
So, and here's the thing. If you got Herman Cain's money, he did a lot of stuff when he was head of the NRA, and I don't mean National Rifle Association.
National Restaurant Association.
And while he was head of that, so he had power, he had money.
Yes.
Why aren't these women going after him?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. See, so he has the same dilemma like old white men have. They're just not attractive. Women are just not attracted to them. Okay?
So they want to be gropers. The man is a serial groper with power and money. But let's eliminate. Let's pretend that the groping doesn't exist.
He's Herman Cain the nigger.
Yes. Let's stop. Let's look at this a different way.
Okay.
Let's say the accusations of sexual harassment have never come to light, and let's examine his preparedness to run for the highest office, not only in this land we call America, but it's the highest office in the world. It is the President of the United States of America. Fundamentally, has this man showed that he has executive knowledge of domestic or foreign policy issues that would affect the lives of over 7 billion people?
Well, it's been discovered that Herman Cain's 999 tax code is going to cost about somewhere between $50 and $80 million or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying, so then he backtracked. He said, okay, well, maybe for the common people, it's going to be a 909 plane. So he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Right.
All right. If you change, that means he came up with a simplified, simple-minded concept, a flat tax rate that he thought this was just going to fix the whole country, and didn't look down the road at the ramifications and the after effects. So that's you fail point number one. You always have to look to the future and see how things will affect how things will affect the economy. This is what Obama has done. Okay, you have not done this, Herman Cain.
Right.
And running the country is it's not like running a pizza company, all right, or a pizza chain, or or when you were at Burger King running some of their chains or whatever the case may be. This is completely different.
Totally different. Totally different.
Totally different. You may have been great shakes there, but this is something different.
Well, let's look at this from another. We're looking at some of his economic policies, the 999, which coincidentally we have the 99 percenters that are occupying Wall Street and various communities around the country that are causing the climate to change economically in America, bringing attention to the 1 percenters who are continue to make their wealth on the 99% of this nation. That this man has a 999 program that absolutely will not work. Look, how about Newt Gingrich? What do you think about good old Newt?
I put Newt Gingrich in the same category as I put Rudy Giuliani. They don't know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
One day they wake up, I want to be president. The next day, I change my mind. That's the same way I look at Newt, and what is, what's he about? We remember Gingrich from the '94 midterm elections. That's
Contract with America.
Yeah, the contract with America, and he led all the angry Republicans, and what their desires back then were basically as petty as their desires are today. They had their big thing was the crime bill. They wanted to get rid of that. They were irritated by midnight basketball. As long as Clinton got rid of that, they were happy. They wanted black boys on the street corner instead of being out there playing ball and getting tired and being a part of something. Today they want a black president out of the White House.
Right.
Okay.
That is the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Get him out at all costs.
Yeah, and it is racist, and there is no way they can say otherwise.
Right.
And so Gingrich is a voice from the past, and he represents some hope for quite a few people. And he's starting to with Romney. I'm not Romney, but I'm sorry, Perry and Kane. Getting into gas, first of all, they don't understand what's even going on.
Right.
Especially Kane. Kane doesn't understand the Obama Libyan invasion or whatever.
Right.
He missed it. He completely clueless on that. At least pretending to be. Perry acts like he's drunk or whatever.
Right.
Perry's busy trying to figure out a scheme to get rid of Kane. Newt Gingrich rises up.
Right.
And so to maybe more than a few Republicans, he's the voice of hope. He's the voice of stability.
Stability.
Good
old Newt.
Yes. So
and they don't like Mitt.
No.
They don't like Mitt Romney.
No.
Because Mitt Romney really is the most flip-floppingest politician you're ever going to meet. Mm-hmm. He was in Massachusetts. The only way he could get elected governor of Massachusetts was to fit and tailor-make his Republican strategy, whereas it coincided with the liberal thinking of the state, especially that was heavily influenced by Senator Ed Kennedy. And his medical program was basically the basis of what Obama used. And now he's totally denying covering people that did not have medical coverage.
Right.
He said, it's destroying the nation. He did the same thing in Massachusetts.
Here's the thing, a lot of this people don't realize. Before Obama, there were some Republicans who were trying to bring in a universal health care.
Right.
They were trying to do some of the same people who were harshly opposed to Obama's. They were trying to do the same thing.
Exactly.
And then they see this black man trying to do it. Now there's something illegitimate about it.
Taboo.
Yeah. Okay. So this is strange stuff. How people's minds change when they see black. Okay. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
Tell me something. This is the thing that I think people fail to realize. Universal health care already exists. Mm-hmm. If you walk into an emergency room and you are bleeding, they're going to ask you, do you have insurance? Mm-hmm. If you say no, that does not mean they're going to put you out and not treat you.
Right.
They are going to treat you. It just so happens that the taxpayer will have to pay for your treatment. Mm-hmm. Universal health care already exists.
Yeah.
What Obama did was create a mechanism for the payment that everybody is now covered. Yeah. A huge majority, not everybody, but a huge majority of those that were not covered are now covered.
That's right.
So universal health care already exists.
That's right.
there's not been a methodology or a plan behind how to pay for your methodology. Pay for the coverage, because people that were using the emergency room for their health care, they have to be treated. Now, these same people under the Obama program, close to 32 million of the 49 million that were not covered, they now can go and seek treatment from a primary physician and only use the emergency room for emergencies. And that's the biggest difference that people do not understand. That universal health care already exists.
Yeah, and you've been paying for it for decades anyway.
Right.
You know, you just haven't been getting it, but you've been paying for it already. So, you know, there's a lot of myths, like you say, regarding universal health care that people need to know about. You know.
What about Michelle Bachmann? This lady's crazy.
What's her name again?
She's crazy. Representative Michelle Bachmann. Representative Michelle Bachmann, Chris, stated that the founding fathers, as they were putting together this nation, that they worked diligently to end enslavement among dark-skinned people of this nation, among what they termed as slaves. I don't like using that word, slaves. We were enslaved, but she made that statement. She said John Quincy Adams worked tirelessly at ending enslavement.
Well, John Quincy Adams would be very interested to hear that. These guys will, huh, really? Did I did all that? Okay, you know, this instant rewriting of history that Michelle Bachmann, when Michelle Bachmann does this, she lowers her mentality to that of a right-wing talk radio host. I don't know if she realizes that or not.
Right.
Okay, spewing out science fiction. All right. And she also did the same thing. She got with this other guy up in Minnesota? Was it?
Yes.
Whatever. Or who said that Obama is more harmful to black families than the slave era was to black families, or something like that. You remember that was just a few months ago. She made, or sometimes in early fall, she made this statement. You know, so she had her view of history is it's worse than Sarah Palin.
Yes.
Okay, and Michelle Bachmann started to fall off the radar a little bit ever since Rick Perry started to rise.
Right.
Herman Cain rose up, she really got buried.
Right.
Okay. She's trying to figure out a way to get back out there. I don't think if Michelle Bachmann literally rebuilt the World Trade Center, she would climb up in the pole.
No.
Okay.
She this whole, but in summary, Chris, of this Republican field, they have done more to help President Obama's re-election campaign than President Obama out on the road promoting what he's been trying to do. They're awful.
You know,
they're incompetent.
And theoretically, all Obama has to do is just be himself.
Yes.
And that's it. He doesn't even have to campaign that hard with these guys.
They're
these
terrible.
Idiots. You're right. He doesn't really have to do much in order to. It would take an insane person to go into that booth, assuming we still have voting booths like we had before,
right,
but to go in and pull the lever for either Perry or Cain in November of 2012 over Obama. It would take insanity to do that.
Do you know, Rick Perry on Fox Television recently stated that Obama came from a privileged life. Last I checked, his father left it. What?
Yes.
He was raised by a single parent.
He was raised by working class people. His single mother who basically bounced around between Kansas, Iowa, Mexico or whatever, Indonesia,
Hawaii.
She didn't know where she wanted to go.
I mean,
the moon.
What's privileged about being your father left you?
And in his, I think as he got up into puberty, his grandparents raised him.
Right.
Okay, but his grandparents were not. They were just working class people. They were not rich people. Okay, but they made a lot of sacrifices for him, which is great. But that is not privilege. That does not equate to privilege.
But let me ask you this: with that thought in mind, has the media become so irresponsible, and the people and elected officials that are running for office so irresponsible that they don't check their facts. They're hoping that you've done no research, that you sit and listen to this madness in hopes that it'll just pass.
Yes.
That's
what they're hoping. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, how could you say that?
You're right. It's, especially in the case of Fox News and all that. That's really what they think. You know, which means, in short, they think that you're idiots. The whole country's out there. Whatever we tell them, they'll believe us.
Anything. No research. Rick Perry had to know. This is a former, was it Texas A&M cheerleader?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. And understand, you know, what gets me about that. I keep thinking about that. I keep thinking about Rick Perry, a former cheerleader, sending people to death.
Yes.
This is a guy, he's a male cheerleader. That means he's either acrobatic or he swung female cheerleaders in midair and caught them. Okay, so what prevented you, Perry, from being a football player instead of a cheerleader? Okay, and now if you could swing in the midair yourself, what prevented you from being a wide receiver?
I don't know.
Okay, so because you still have to have a lot of athleticism to do those things.
Right.
Okay, he didn't join the band. He didn't play football. He said, "No, I want to be a cheerleader." And then one day I want to be governor and expand the death penalty.
Yes.
Okay. So I wonder, that's a very complex mind.
Right.
To go all those places.
Absolutely. Well, in closing, Chris, we've had the privilege of talking about this interesting Republican field of candidates for president. And I think they are doing a great job of helping the re-election of President Barack Obama. And if they can continue, I think we will be assured that President Obama will be able to achieve the things in his second term that many of the Republican members of Congress and the Senate have blocked for nothing more than to try to get a black out of the White House.
Yes. And I think all you white women out there, if you know Herman King, if he pinched your booty or patted you or something like that on a butt or something like that, come forward. Keep coming. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Okay?
He's the Clarence Thomas of the Republican field. Our Herman King. The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Hey, that's all for us here on the network. We'll see you next week. That's all for Pat Freeman and Chris Stevenson. We'll see you next week right here on the network talking about the Republican field today. We'll talk about something else next week.